Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Onward VR Master League. I am your host, Nomad. Here today, I'm presenting here for you this Nighthawks EU versus Equipe Virtuelle Francophone matchup in the EU division. For those who want to know what the last team's name means in French, roughly means the French-speaking virtual team. But for the sake of this stream, we're going to call them EVF. Now, we are just a few moments away from starting the game. We are waiting on one more member of EVF to join. So in the meantime, let's get a little bit of business out of the way in form of bans and picks. So, Nighthawks, they are the home team. They get the first ban. EVF gets the second ban. So bans today are for home, Hook, and for the away, Tanker. And for our map number 1, it's going to be Suburbia. Now, a little bit of context here. If you never heard of the Nighthawks EU, and that's, I would understand, it's because this is their very first match. Not just for the season, this is their first match, full stop. And for it to be casted, I can imagine these guys they're probably excited, but they're also pretty nervous, and I can relate, as my very first match in the VRML was also casted. It was with the Devil's Brigade, and it was against the Season 11 champions, the Raptors. So, if they're nervous, I can relate. Looks like still waiting on one more member of EVF. Should be in momentarily, so it'll be a few minutes before he gets in, and for the teams to strategize. And we should be underway. Now, if you haven't really seen Suburbia before, it's actually an interesting map. It's a great map for newer teams, as it's a very linear map. You can actually break it down into 4 lanes here. You got lane 1, which is this right here. Lane 2, which is effectively that little alleyway there, and down into here, followed by lane 3, which is all this. This is basically the lane of death, as this is common for pre-fire to happen along this lane here. Finally, lane number 4. Now, we do have the burning house objective here. Whoa. So, lane number 4 and lane number 3 are going to be the 2 critical lanes to watch. And for those who aren't aware of what we're going to be doing here, this is a game mode uplink. It's a search and destroy like mode where it's a 5v5, and the whole purpose is for the attacking team, known as Marsoc. They are dressed in a desert camo to memorize a 5-digit code on a tablet that all players have. You have to get within a small radius of the uplink, which is this green, noisy, rotating satellite, and punch it in. If they can punch that in, they get 2 points. If they eliminate the defenders, known as Volk, they are dressed in black fatigues, they get 1 point. The first team to get 4 points on one map wins that map. It's a best of 7. But it's also a best of 3 maps. So if you win 2 maps, you effectively won the series, and you get a win tally on your score, on your rankings, and you move up by gaining more MMR. Now, that's just one of several ways that will factor your MMR, but for this sake, we're going to focus on just the win, as even though EVF does have MMR ranking right now, as they played more than 3 matches, as I said, the Nighthawks, this is the very first match. They still have to play 3 matches before the league decides what their starting MMR ranking will be. quite often in your new team or you're starting your first season, your first 3 matches are going to be quite varying. And when I said it, I mean you're probably going to be matched up against a very strong team and maybe a team that's not as strong, and maybe one that's somewhere in the middle if you don't do any challenge matches. That is to gauge approximately where you are in the standings, and from there you can move up. Of course, as the whole purpose of MMR is to basically find where you stand amongst your opponents, and over the coming weeks you're going to find yourself matched up against tougher teams that are closer towards your skill level. Of course, as you win, you move up. As you lose, you go down. But we are still waiting on one more member from EVF to join. So I think for the time being, we are going to be in an intermission. Hopefully not too long. Usually when caster threatens intermissions, they suddenly join and the round starts. So alrighty, sorry about the wait there, folks. We finally got our 5th. We are now starting round number 1. All is quiet there. I'm hoping they're speaking. Alright, already a little bit of pre-fire going on to lane 3 here. And looking like a 2-1-2 split going on for the Nighthawks. 2 going, could be lane 1. 1 going lane 2, and 2 going lane 4. Jinx. And a relatively nice spot. Not very commonly played. Should throw off this lane 4 push off guard. Nighthawks just taking it slow. They have 6 minutes to make their attacks. They got all the time in the world on a map as small as Suburbia. Spore's gonna find Monsieur, and Jinx is gonna find a refrag right there. Tango is gonna find the extra refrag on top of that. Gonna make it a 4v3.5. Oliver's gonna be careful. Thought is on the patio of objective here. He's in that last man position. Hill's gonna find Magnet over onto lane 2. Here comes Oliver. Just as he gets the revive, Mike is gonna get the pick on Oliver from the playground. Tango's gonna find Will, who was in spawn house. And RRSK, I think it's pronounced Risky, looking for Mike onto spawn house. Get it. Find Monsieur burning. Mike trying to find that refrag. The revive did come out onto spawn in the middle house. We're now at a 3v2 with Mike in spawn house and Thought at burning. They need to hold this objective between a primarily lane 1, lane 2 push. Tango with a nice pick. Thought. And they do get the pick. Nighthawks will take their first point. Now, I guess I didn't really go over the rosters here. Find a better place to get the background. So, for the Nighthawks, we have Spore 144. We have RRSK1, I'm going to assume is Risky. Magnet 81, Tango, and Oliver CZ. We'll just call him Oliver. Over on the EVF side, we have Thought, Will, Mike FJ, Jinx 78, and Monsieur. So, those are our starting players for the two teams. And so far, a nice round one. Good attack from Nighthawks. They took their time. They pushed pretty much as a single unit, a single line going down that map. Scoring picks, prioritizing revives, which is critical. You don't often see it on new teams, so to see them make their revives as quick as possible and get their refrags as quick as possible is always nice to see. Now, with uplink, each team has a chance to attack and defend that same objective. So now the Nighthawks are going to be defending and EVF are going to be attacking. Let's see what happens. I didn't glance at it too much, but Tango, Nighthawk side, just about got an ace. He got 4 kills in that round, so he's definitely put the team on his back for that round. All right, here we go. Round number 2. I'm thinking that I'm probably not able to hear the players' voices. There's a hot patch that came out for casters to remedy this issue, but maybe it didn't fix it 100%. See if I get a chance to change. Well, always a thought. Get a pick on the Spore at lane 4 ABC, a common position if you're a defender. Again, some pre-fire, some saturation fire over onto lane 3 from Will. We have got Tango in lane 2. We got Magnet in spawn in the middle house. And looks like we got a prep going on for lane 3. Lots of smoke at Burning House. Jinx and Thought are on Burning House north side. Risky's the only one on the patio. He's the only one really able to defend it. He's got the only visual. Jinx is moving around towards APC lane 4. Thought, quickly crawling in. Magnet with the pick onto Monsieur. Risky will find Jinx in lane 4. Thought is crawling towards the sandbags. He is going for cap. He will get the pick. He'll get taken down by Risky. Tango is going to find Will. And just like that, it's now a 4v1.5 in favor of Nighthawks. All down to Mike. There's a comper onto Thought. Mike will find Tango, making it a 1v3 now. These are just nearly going by Mike here. From Magnet, who's in lane 3. Now he's got 4 minutes, 3 seconds left, which is almost an eternity on Suburbia. It looks like he's waiting for a flank to appear. but it's not going to happen. The Nighthawks are playing disciplined for the most part. Magnet is going to be the only flanker. I'm sure Mike would have heard those footsteps. There we go. That's what Mike was looking for. Waiting for a flanker to appear. Now he just made it a 1v2. The odds are looking more and more into his favor as the minutes tick by. Oliver in spawn house, trying to find where Mike is. Risky still on burning house patio. He's the one holding down the objective. Now, in a situation like this, if you're Mike, quite often what works in their favor is to do what's called shoot and scoot, where you go for a pick. Whether you make the pick or not, after you fire, like you did on Oliver there, you rotate, which is exactly what Mike's doing. You rotate to be unpredictable. Things are looking good so far for Mike here, but that's the whole point as shoot and scoot, is to get a pick, rotate, get a pick, rotate. Just take apart the defense until you get to a 1v1 like you have here, where now it's anyone's round. Now, Oliver is only downed. Mike cannot confirm the kill. So Oliver is essentially a radar beacon. As soon as he can spot Mike, he can call him out for risky. I should also make mention that could you guys hear any audio that you think needs to be changed, whether my voice needs to be louder or softer, or if the game audio needs to be louder or softer, please let me know in chat. Be aware though, we are running on a 6-minute delay. Oliver should be calling out Mike now. Mike has any utility, it'll be a good time to use it. I do not see any on him. This slow peak will be lethal for him. And a trade in favor of the Nighthawks. And now the Nighthawks will get their second point. All right. Now, as I mentioned, each team has a chance to attack and defend that objective. What happens after that is it then moves. It spawns to a random location, which in our situation did not go very far, as it is now the playground objective. Now, I did learn a couple of weeks ago where you could potentially cap. I'll bring up the full screen for you folks, where you can stand about here, put your tablet into the hedge, and could potentially cap. It's a little tricky, but it can be done. Now, I don't believe I can do map predictions, which is a way of you guys to gamble your channel points and see which team you think will win. But judging by what just happened, let me know in the chat, who do you think is going to win this map? And let's go one step further. Type in the name of the team you think is going to win, and give me the predicted score line. Who do you think is going to win? And by what margin? right, here we go. Looks like Nighthawks get the quick spawn for this objective. And no pre-fire, which is interesting. Get a lot of pre-fire coming from this spawn, regardless if they have it or not. An early pick for Magnet. Taking out Mike, taking out 5v4, but right away, Diggs. Taking out one, down in another. Will's gonna find Tango, and just like that, it's a 4v2.5. Make that a 3.5 v2.5 in favor of EVF. A pretty good idea where the remaining members of the Nighthawks are. It looks like Magnet could be going for a revive for Spore. Risky finds Monsieur into lane 3. That was a critical pick. Now, will he be aware of Thought? Looks like Jinx is pushing up. Going for a flank, possibly confirm Spore. Like he did just there. Thought will take down Risky, but the revive will come out. This is going to make it a essentially a 2v1 with 2 downs in the favor of the Nighthawks. Will Magnet be aware of Thought's position? I really wish I could hear these players speak. Obviously, Magnet did hear a player speak with that confirm. There's only one other downed player left for EVF, and it's Will, near the Hesco at lane 4, kind of close to where they actually spawned. Magnet's going to take lane 1. Take the wide rotation, possibly take Volk House. Meanwhile, Spore, taking the north side. Looks like they're going to try and pinch it. I'm not sure if Thought's aware. Well, he's probably relying on Will for callouts, as Thought right now is not in the best spot to actually defend the objective, but I would imagine Will is kind of his radar beacon, who's going to be calling out Spore right shortly. Or covering the Hescoan playground, which is a common position to be in as a defender. There is the confirm onto Will. Now a 2v1. Nate will go up and over, almost getting the TK. Thought will get the pick onto Magnet. It's all down to Spore. Thought is making his rotation now. He heard that Spore was in lane 4. And another trade. And again, in favor of the Nighthawks. That's going to make it a 3-0 round so far for the Nighthawks. I'm liking this match so far. We're getting all these 1v1s, which is what you want to see. You want to see these guys duking it out. Although the seeing the 5-0 rounds go up is interesting to see. The most entertaining matches are usually the ones that end with a 1v1. Yeah, I need to make a disclaimer here. This is my second attempt at casting for the VRML. I did have one attempt yesterday. Unfortunately, I had some technical issues. So I would like to apologize to Friendly Fire and their opponents, Rack. I did not give them a fair shake at a casted match. Hopefully things are smoother now, and hopefully I can make up make it up to them in the near future. Now, things are really getting tense here. You have a minute and a half between rounds to prepare for each round, and this one took a bit longer than the previous rounds took before they started. So, you know, EVF, they're feeling the pressure. If they do not win this round, they lose this map. That means that the Nighthawks would have to win one more map to win the series. Regardless of the scoreline, map 3 is always played, regardless of who wins map number 2. Now we got a mirror spawn for EVF. Two people posting up. And in lane 2, will find an early pick onto Spore, trying to make his way towards spawn house. We have got Magnet in center house, looking for that refrag. Shots are fired from Magnet. They do not connect. Looking at the defense here, we got fairly spread out defense. They're holding back, allowing EVF to take as much map as possible. Magnet will find a pick onto Mike. And he's rotating to a different window. Now, the Nighthawks have to be careful, as Jinx is going for this flank here, but Oliver could be watching it. But with typical Onward timing, looks away just before he could possibly get a pick onto him. Magnet still roaming around center house, actually just left. He's looking for Will here, and he will get the pick. Magnet's still on the prowl. He's hungry for more kills. Free fire going on, but nothing connecting so far. Oliver's looking for Jinx here. And also Tango. Magnet's gonna find Jinx. He's gonna cover their backs. And Thought will get the lane refrag onto Magnet. That was needed. They had to get him out of here. They had to take him down. Thought will find Tango as well. It's now a 2v2. Magnet a 2v1 in favor of EVF. It's all down to Oliver to defend this objective. Up against Monsieur and Thought. Oliver's gonna rotate to objective. Or he's just gonna be quick peeking that. Oh. Sorry guys. My bad. Oliver's in a nice spot. Might be able to see Monsieur. As soon as Monsieur stands up, he's gonna probably get his head shut off. The two of them are kind of in a line here, trying to push up together. A good tactic in their situation would be for the Thought to rotate to lane 4 and try and get a pinch onto them. Thought will throw smoke onto the objective, forcing a rotation, making Oliver move just to make sure that the objective is indeed defended. And with the trade, and because Monsieur was still alive, EVF get their first point. And that's where it starts. That's what they need. Get that first point on the board. Everything starts with that first point. So, as mentioned, we have now done 2 rounds of the playground objective. It now moves to the tank objective. This one's kind of interesting, as you can cap from either side of this tank, which means that The two key positions to hold as Volk are the center house and the spawn house, or Volk house. I believe Snooperfax calls us the Nick Cage house, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're a attacker, the key thing is to try and clear out one of two houses, or even both houses if you can. Speak. Oh, here we go. Sounds like round number 5 is underway. And there's always a habit of me to try and move over to where the players spawn in hopes to hear the conversation, but of course, a slight issue going on where we cannot hear them speak. Got Spore and Oliver going for lane 1. Magnet pushing up hard. Trying to control the house. Seconds, we are now in a 4v3. Spore and Risky are gonna try and take out center house. Tango's in lane 3. There's actually no one inside spawn house. We've got Thought behind the curb, this hedge curb here, looking for anyone to enter the spawn house. Oh, and a trade by Spore and Mike there. 2 trades already so far in this round. Right now we're at a 3v2 in favor of EVF. It's gonna be Risky's turn now to try and take center house. God, I wish that I could hear them speak. That's half the entertainment right here, is hearing what the players have to say. You get a good understanding as to what's going on in their minds, and sometimes you hear something humorous. Monster V's trying to slowly move up lane 2 here. I'm gonna catch Risky off guard. Jinx is watching the first floor from the stairs. Looks like a nade comes and will get Risky. Nice work. Now down to a 3v1. All down to Tango. There's the refrag. Now a 2v1. Is he aware of Thought's position? He is not. And EVF will get their second point, making it a 3-2 map. They're coming back. Seeing some folks here in the Twitch chat, some familiar names. Welcome. And a couple of unfamiliar names to me. If you're new to the stream, welcome. If you're not, well, I apologize. Obviously, I don't watch too many streams, unfortunately. My work life sometimes gets in the way. But it doesn't matter because we can still be friends here, right now. Looks like we had a member of the Nighthawks disconnect. Obviously, we're going to be waiting on him, most likely to rejoin. Hopefully, he does not take too... Oh, just as I say that. It looks like actually a substitute, as we now have the Teo Owl in the lobby. And all right, round number 6 is underway. Looks like another 2-2-1 split. 2 going lane 1, 2 going lane 2, and 1 going to lane 4 with 3 members Nighthawks in center house. So a heavier commitment to center house, which is a critical building to take on this objective. A bit of pre-fire from Will. Trying to keep the members inside the middle house. Heads down. Smoke coming up onto objective. We got Owl. A little bit of exchange going on between Will and Oliver. No one really connecting. And Jinx was on objective. Tablet out, about to cap. Score. A nice job in spawn house getting a kill, preventing the cap. And look at all those smokes. They were primed for a cap. And all the smokes begin to disappear now. There's Magnet stays on objective. He does not want another member of Marsoc to get close to objective again. Thought pushed up to lane 1 here. Al did hear the footsteps. Oh, here we go. In a trade. With Thought winning that trade as being only downed. Whereas Al was indeed killed. He's going to find Mike. The con from the mic. I did not catch up with all that, but the Nighthawks get their final 2 kills to get their 4th point and to win map number 1. Now, before we leave this map, I want to show you something interesting. This house here in lane 1, as nice of a house it is, does not have any doors. Oh, I couldn't quite squeeze it all in. But that house has 0 doors to it. And I blame Mono for that. Just kidding. Mono, a great player, a great community member, and a great employee of DPI, the makers of this game. Always a respected custom map maker. Now, map number 2 is going to be Bazaar, which is a larger map, but doesn't really play like a larger map in some ways. And by that, I mean, the overall size is grand. It's consider it a medium map, but, and I'll bring up the gameplay here. This is the map, essentially. You can actually break it down into about 5 sectors. And with the objective being in each sector, one of these sectors, a lot of the fighting is actually quite close quarters. Now, we do have what's called the Cross Street objective or the West Alley objective, sometimes called the Humvee objective, but a lot of the fighting is actually within this sector for the most part. You'll see some long-range engagements from this building to the cross streets possibly, but for the most part, a lot of the combat is actually relatively close. Oops. I did not want that. One thing about this objective is there's a couple spots you gotta be mindful of as a defender. They can cap about here, or they can cap inside by this doorway. But we'll find out shortly if they can pull it off, as round number 1 is underway. With EVF in the west spawn, we can see some pretty quick action here. Monster V is going to take North Street towards Kiat. Will's going to be taking the West Market. Thought and Jinx are going to be trying to cross the street right away with those smokes on the street right now. Hanging on to the Spore close to the spawn. They're trying to take out Mike, but Magnet will get the pick in the end. Risky's gonna find Jinx trying to cross from the southwest. Will just witnessing his friend's death right there. Risky's gonna find the comfort on the Jinx. And that's really halted the advance of EVF. Already in a 5v3 with still 5 minutes 6 seconds left. Will is at the West Red Truck. Thought is still on West Street here, looking for a pick onto Magnet onto the apartments. And Monster V is in the market, crawling away through the market itself, looking for anyone who could be on the objective building, this white multi-story building. They got Oliver in a not so meta spot really, but could still be very powerful. Boar is still on the pallets near spawn. T-Owl in a holding a critical angle here. If he can watch this window here, he could catch out Will. And things have really gone quiet now. EVF. Ooh, Thought with a nice pick onto Magnet in the apartments. That's really opened up the west side of the objective here, making the street safe to cross now, as Thought takes over the apartments. And here comes the get Thought. Will wasn't quite able to land his shots with M249 to save his friend. But now apartments is back under Volk control. Will make a rotation. He knows that there's going to be an enemy in apartments, but will not be able to do anything about it as Risky will get the pick. It's all down to Monsieur V. Mr. V. Picking his tablet. realizing he is the last one alive on his team. If the call-out was made for the pick onto Magnet in apartments, you'll know he's in a 1v4. Moving up to ice cream truck. Now there's really no one at the objective building itself, but that's not necessary as with the trade between Monsieur V and Oliver. With 3 more members of Nighthawks still alive, they will get their first point on map number 2. Just looking at that chat again. I believe it's pronounced Elisoyo? Am I pronouncing that right? Hello. If I botched it, I apologize. Now it's going to be EVF's turn to defend its objective. And there's actually multiple working strategies to defending it. A very risky one is to have your defenders really spaced out. Now, Nighthawks kind of did that. They had one member kind of the far southwest to cover that west cross. But they left the east fairly open. Now, you can get some members to the east end here to try and cover this cross. But if you have too many members spaced out, woo, flying into a chimney there, you're increasing your chances of being capped on, which is basically death, potentially, for any team on a map. Because you only need 4 points to win the map, and you get 2 points to cap, you're just 2 rounds away from losing that map. So it's often better as Volk to die and give your opponents 1 point as opposed to allow yourself to get capped on and give them 2. Speaking of 2, we're on round number 2 of map number 2. We got a 3-2 split here on the east spawn for Marsoc. Got some C4 action going on in the southeast courtyard blue room, placed by Jinx. I think Thought might he might not attack anyone yet, but he could potentially be the first contact for the Nighthawks here. With 2 members still only at the northwest corner of the map, they have to speed things up if they want to be in sync with the 3 other members of Nighthawks. Might be a little while before there's any gunfire exchange, so Jinx, as mentioned, is in the southeast courtyard blue room. Will is in the same spot as I believe was Oliver in the previous round. Mr. V here inside objective building, and Mike at the southwest apartments building. And for the most part, they're pretty condensed, covering the majority of the avenue's approach to objective. That's not who I want. There we go. And just as I look away, Spore will get a pick onto Thought. He's only downed. He can still make callouts. And should be calling out these 2 rotations here from Oliver and Spore. TL hanging back, covering their backs, looking for any refrags. Mike might be hearing these footsteps here. And with these 3 members close in together, 1 nade could wipe them all out. So they have to be careful of. Speaking of nade, 1 gets tossed onto objective, but will not find anybody there. Oh, Mr. V was on the opposite side of that wall. V4 spotted. Will not get the pick. Jinx will peek out and get the pick there. Making it now a 4.5 V4 in favor of EVF. Flashbang goes out. Nice. Great job right there. Did I get the replay? I did. Good. And just like that, we are now in a 4.5 V2. We should be seeing a revive coming out onto Thought. All down the Magnet. And Risky. Risky's checking out the apartments and objective building, looking for anyone peeking through the windows. With Magnet, he's in that southwest alley. Will could potentially peek and get him. Jinx will get the revive onto Thought, and Risky's crashing in onto apartments here. Looking for any pick he can, but will get picked himself by Mike. All down the Magnet. We will find Jinx, making it a 1v4. Now you probably think this is a 1v3 because I imagine a call out onto Thought was made, but because he was revived, kill count should be off. And not prepared for Mike's peek through the window there. And with that, EVF will get their point. Now, we just had 2 rounds of the Cross Streets objective. Now we get to move to one of the newer objectives for this map, the tank objective. Although it's not really new now, it's been around for a few months now. Alrighty. Now there are a few capping points. There's only a couple of capping points. Once again, just like the tank objective of Suburbia, you can cap right about here. And usually about the edge of this tank on this corner here. Those are really the only covered, or somewhat covered, capping points. Everything else, you're very well exposed and relying on smoke to cover your cap. And we'll see if that happens as we get into round number 3. Looks like we could potentially have a 2-1-2 split. See what we got for a defense. We got Al at the refrigerator, a powerful position to be in, being underneath of it, and with typical Onward timing, as he peeks, 2 members of EVF rotate past him. That cross will be missed. Mike will get a pick onto Oliver, who was behind the wooden box here. A common spot to be in, a powerful spot nonetheless, for this particular objective. And that's going to make it a 5v4 for EVF so far. Putting things in their favor so far. Looks like Spore. Showing me on southeast patio of southeast courtyard. And as I say that, he's gonna defy me and rotate. Thought. At the southwest alley. Probably gonna be the south flanker. Most likely having his teammates in the northwest, or northeast, sorry. They will most likely be the distraction, getting picks and creating noise, drawing attention, as Thought will move in from the south and potentially cap. That's my prediction. Speaking of predictions, let's try this again. Like I said, I don't have the ability to put map predictions on chat, so you cannot gamble your channel points. But let me know in the chat, what do you think? Which team will win this map and by what score? See how good you guys are at predicting things. And also on top of that, if you want to chance it, go onto the Onward VRML website, go into the matches page. From there, you can actually pick and actually try out like a pick on the score there. See who do you think, which team will win the match. And there's also a little vote counter as well as to see which match you want to see casted by us casting crew. We do take a look at that, and if the match does fit within our busy schedules, we'll do our utmost to cast those matches. Yeah, we got one getting pretty close. I think it's Jinx. He's getting awfully close to objective. Risky is going to be filling in the southeast corner there. And Jinx on the open cross will get down by a teammate. TL will find Thought. Will thought the rotation was coming from an enemy there. As he takes down his teammate who was trying to cap, which would have potentially saved his life from Risky. Will trying to take out TL, who was at apartments here. Nade goes in the patio, doesn't quite find Will there. And we got a bit of a gunfight going on right now. Risky will confirm the body of Jinx, who was on objective, as Mike gets a pick onto TL. And just like that, we're now a 3v1. Risky is the only defender left. Mr. B in the East Market Blue Room. Trying to peek, trying to find where Risky was in his previous location. Risky doing the right thing. He's bouncing around, trying to cover all the approaches to the objective to make sure that EVF does not cap. See? Smoke's gonna come in. 2 smokes coming in, 3 smokes coming in. Covering up the objective. Risky's gonna have to make some rotations here. Will slowly cross the street into the construction site. More smoke's gonna come in. Looks like this is gonna be the cap attempt from Will. Mr. B just on the upside. Here comes Will, and Will get picked up by Risky, trying to make that cap. Mr. B's turn is gonna be to the cap. Mike with a quick rotation into the southeast corner blue room. Will find a pick onto Risky, giving EVF their second point. I don't think there was any communication going on at the end there from Mr. B. Sometimes he'll signal to your teammates. Often it's like a spamming of the radio, telling your teammates, look, I'm gonna go for cap. Do not kill the last guy. I'm not sure if that actually happened. Or it could be they just said, look, let's just go for kill. Let's get the 1 point, let's move on. But then again, they did have to make a quick push as there was only 22 seconds left in the round, so they had to do something and do it quick. And looks like we're waiting on a member of the Nighthawks to enter the lobby. They must have DC'd possibly. Hopefully it does not take too long. Sounds like they're gonna run with the 5v4. If it's going to be a 5v4, then so be it. In the middle of round number 4. A little bit of a last second discussion there, most likely. Could get a Mr. V in. Ooh, a nice pick from Refrigerator onto Spore. Mr. V could be the next one for a kill here. And we'll miss the first cross onto Risky. Will he spot the T-Owl cross? No. Maybe he did, just called him out. Yeah, I see he's on the radio there. He did not engage them, but he did call it the cross. So they are aware that there's players in the northeast corner. And thought again at this Refrigerator will find a pick onto Oliver, making a 5v2. Flashbang goes out. I doubt he got anyone. Another flashbang goes out. I don't think I would have gotten Risky there. All down to Risky and Towel. T-Owl. T-Owl. Yeah. Now, if you're still looking for some more Onward fix after this, at this current moment, Nightfire is in a cast in an EU matchup with Horizon Venue, sorry, which is an app you can download with your Quest or Quest 2. Flashbang goes out. Might have gone Risky there. T-Owl would get a pick on the Jinx. And he'll get that pick, making it a 2v4. With the closest player being Mr. V on a, well, I guess might get Mr. V close to objective. They could potentially stop the cap. Mike rotating to scaffolding, which is a quite powerful position to be in. Thought push up to market, expecting more players there. Mr. B did make a rotation to try and cover the objective from Southeast Street, but will get picked by T-Owl. B2. Risky trying to find Will there, could not connect the shots. Drop a smoke to cover the rotation. Nate goes out. Mike from Scaffolding will find Risky. Now a 1v3.5 in favor of EVF. Looks like Magnet has re-entered the lobby. And with that pick, EVF will get their 3rd point. Actually, let's go back to the gameplay screen. Look at this KDR. So far, Mike going on a rampage here with a 9-1. Obviously, he is very familiar with this map. And looks like we got 4-2 for Thought. And we got 4-3 for Risky, 4-3 for TOL. So we've got members of both teams getting the picks and really keeping their own respective teams in this match. Now, of course, now we have 5v5. Should see a little extra action here. It's always tough when you're down a man in a 4v5, any round really, let alone as Marsoc. If you want to be in a 4v5, it's usually better to be as Volk. But we'll see how they match up again with round number 5 underway. And I should mention that we now have the legendary and dreadful Kiot objective. If I get out of this tree here, Magnet's gonna push up towards the southeast corner of Market, but not commonly played position, which should throw EVF off. Yeah, Oliver in 2nd floor. Oh, just about to go to Spore's POV. Picked up by Jinx. And right now, it is a 5v4 in favor of EVF. Looks like we got a full. Yeah, we got a 4-man push to the east and 1 to the south. This should be interesting. Smoke coming from Oliver. Trying to blind Thought's, field of view there. Magnet could get a pick onto Thought though. I think they were both aware of each other's position there. Hearing each other's footsteps. Now a 5v3.5. This is where the main push is going to be. Most likely going to be trying to go from the north side and the south side of Kiot there. With only 1 person on objective. There's going to have to be a rotation going on between Risky and TL. For cap. No. I wonder if he was stuck in the door there as he got picked off by Oliver. But here comes Mr. V. He's gonna make his attempt to cap. Waiting on somebody to rotate. Oh. And a Trey is gonna come out with an extra pick from Mike onto Risky. Objective is now open. There's only Owls left alive on the fence there. Kia is completely open. The best he can hope for is to get himself killed here, because if anyone knows about Kia objective, it's just an absolute bugger to try and defend by yourself. I don't think Mike is aware that there's only 1 left, and that He's so far away from objective. But here it comes. Mike's closing in. Expecting the defender to be somewhere close by. All this gunfire. They are probably aware he's last one up. Here we go. Second floor cap. Here we go. I was looking at Kiot. Misses the rotation from Mike. Could this be 5-1? Two minutes, 33 seconds left to cap. Plenty of time. Looks like he's going to give up on the counter and just get the pick, giving EVF their 4th point and the map win. And looks like we're gonna have some little bit of downfall going on here. A little bit of, I guess both teams want to roam around a little bit. Plano is pretty much the largest DPI map and potentially the largest map in our current map pool. As you might be aware, we do have a select group of maps for these players to choose from. It's 5 maps that come with the game. When you buy them, you can play them right away. And 3 custom maps. These are maps that are made by members of the Onward community that the league has voted on to say that these custom maps are league worthy. They're willing to play on them competitively. And those maps, I'll just obviously Bazaar, Downfall, and Suburbia are them. We also have there's a Tanker and Subway. Drawing a blank here, folks. Sorry. Yeah, so the 5 Downfall maps: Bazaar, Downfall, Suburbia, Subway, Tanker, and the 3 custom maps are Arctic, Paradise, and the Hook 2.0. Now, with Season 12, you have 3 map pools. One for the first 5 weeks, and what we're at now is the second 5 weeks, map number 2, map pool 2, number 2, blah, blah. And finally, map pool 3 in the final 5 weeks. And after that, we'll move on to what's called the Challenger Cup, where when the season ends, the top 7 teams advance the postseason, the playoffs. But there's still room for an 8th team, that wild card position. And that's where the Challenger Cup comes in. 2-day tournament where teams will duke it out for one of 2 positions to contend for that 8th spot, and whoever wins the tournament and that final battle will be the wild card position. And then they go to a round robin where the top 4 teams will advance for the semifinals and eventually the finals. And of course, top 3 teams will win cash and prizes at the end. Last season, we had a prize pool of $14,000 US. And with a new sponsor added to the list, you could potentially see a similar prize pool, if not possibly a larger prize pool. But that's still several weeks away, so we won't dab into that too much. Alrighty. And And right now we have round number 1 of map number 3. The map 3 decider. We have got the heli bungalow spawn objective with the southeast spawn for Marsoc. And all that time, I forgot. Forgot to put in the team names. Rookie mistake. Now they're kind of a heavy southeast presence for Marsoc. Meanwhile, with Volk, fairly standardized defense for the most part. One in Center Hotel, one in South Brothel. We got one on objective at Heli Bungalow. We got 2 at Heli 2-story. Got 5 minutes remaining. So far, not much happened for Marsoc. They haven't gotten too far away. Thought appears to have spotted someone, most likely it's South Marsoc. Or in Spore. Again, a little bit of gunfighting going on, but so far no one's been tagged, no one's down, no one's dead. So far Nighthawks are just feeling the defense here, just poking and prodding, seeing where they are, getting an understanding of where they need to be to pick apart this defense. And already the first pick is going to come from Mike onto Oliver. It was over at the Marsoc Hill. Spore is going to be in Valley. He's probably going to try and challenge Mike at South Brothel. We got Tio Owl at Center Bungalow. We have got Risky at Northeast Bungalow. And looks like Magnet's going to be falling behind Spore here at Valley. Spore already at Lower Dumpster. Owl making a slow open cross. Hasn't been spotted yet. Keeping tabs onto Heli 2-story 2nd floor, looking for Jinx. Looks like Magnet's gonna join Spore at Lower Dumpster. Jinx is gonna find Risky, who's gonna make a rotation onto North Hotel. And as that was going on, Mike was trying to take out Spore at the south side of West Road, with Will backing up from Center Hotel, getting that pick. Nice little headshot. And just like that, it's now a 5v2 in favor of EVF. All down to Magnet and Owl. You can see all these lasers moving around. Expecting a second person to the south. They're unaware of Owl's position. I don't think he's ever fired a shot yet. And I don't think anyone's ever tried to shoot at him, though. We got a minute, 23 seconds left. Not a lot of time, with a lot of ground to cover still. And Mr. V with the Dragunov, the SVD, gets a nice headshot onto Magnet. All down to Teal Owl. We'll just call him Owl. Now, Jinx is not peeking that window too terribly much, which is to his benefit. He's more focused on a cross. Disregard what I was about to say. He'll get the pick onto Owl. Give an EVF their first point. Now, I'm a little curious as to why Nighthawks chose Downfall, as Downfall is a very tricky map to play as Marsoc. This is a very Volk favored map, and so, and on top of that, there is a lot to know about Downfall. There's a lot of callouts to know. There's a lot of terrain features you gotta be aware of as to where you need to be if you do not want to be spotted from this location or you want to check out that location. So it's a very technical map that few teams can play very well as Marsoc. One team that does come to mind for me is Mayhem. For the most part, it's a real gamble if you pick Downfall. And when I say there's a lot of callouts to memorize, here's just a few. White House, Marsoc South, Marsoc North, Marsoc Tower, East Church, South Bungalow, Center Bungalow, North Bungalow, Northeast Bungalow, East Stables, Tank House, Villa, North Hotel, Upper Red, Lower Red, North HQ, Volk Tower, etc., etc., etc. There is a lot of callouts that you need to memorize. For new teams, that could be a little too much. Looks like I killed enough time there for teams to ready up for round number 2. Looks like we're going to have a mirror spawn. And I guess Wheel must be the sniper of... No, he's got an M249. He's going to take a wide rotation onto the East Hills. South Hills, sorry. Going to try and avoid their line of sight as much as possible. That rotation is very exposed for the most part, but not too many people actually use it, so people don't tend to look too terribly hard over there. Magnet in the helicopter does take thought. Will not get the down though. And here's what I mean about Will with his cross. Very little cover, but a very uncommon rotation. Mike is in South Bungalow. Let's see, trying to get a pick from South Brothel. Trying to get thought who's at the Marsoc Hill. Jinx taking some pot shots as long as Mr. V onto South Brothel. Not able to connect. And Risky again, returning fire, this time onto Mike, who was just west of the South Brothel. Once again, a fairly meta defense going on, with only difference is instead of having 2 in North Bungalow, or no, sorry, LE2, sorry, even I get it screwed up. T-Owl again to pick onto Mike. Suppressor trying to get picks onto Oliver. Lower dumpster. Will and the sniper's nest. Looking to get risky. And Magnus, a nice hit on Jinx. Magnus rotation to the lower dumpster. And I can't get out. And it's gonna find a headshot onto Will, who was on Sniper's Nest. Obviously not aware of the kill there, as he continues to shoot shots at him. Thought still hanging back, trying to find some picks here. Gonna have to move up though, with only 3 minutes 5 seconds left, and a 5v2.5. Something's gonna have to happen. Looks like Mr. V, lane prone, gonna try and make the slow cross and try and get the revive onto Jinx. I just realized that's an M, not an N. Also joining Mr. V here. Two minutes, 30 seconds left. We'll have some time, a bit of ground to cover, but they gotta get some picks. Revive, and there we go. The first pick they needed. Thought gets the shot onto Magnet. That will clear the Heli Bungalow somewhat, as he had 2 inside there. Now it's a 4v3. Now the odds are starting to improve a bit more, but with 1 minute 45 seconds left, they got some ground to cover still. Clearing out the west bungalow with no one there. Mr. Jinx gonna take the rooftop. Will not find Oliver yet. Oliver at the PKM at North Brothel, laying down some suppressive fire. Smoke's gonna come up onto objective. Oliver will get the pick onto Jinx, who was on the rooftop of Center Hotel. 1 minute 5 left. Oh, with only a pistol left, because his sniper rifle probably won't help out too much here. Will get picked up by Risky. And a trade of Mars or Volk rounds. Now 1-1. Alright, so we just had 2 rounds of the Heli Bungalow objective, and now moves there. We now got the Army Truck objective. Now, you can cap within this building, but you have to have your tablet through this window. Your only other potential cap would be between the rock wall and the truck, or tucked in this corner right here. It's still possible to get a cap onto this one here. Whether you enter the bungalow, or even another potential one is a rotation from the north. You can still get a chance to get the cap. Powerful position to be in as Volk is South Brothel. Get that first floor window, and you can deny a lot of ground of access points towards objective. And we'll see how things go over with round number 3. Again, we're in this southeast Marsoc spawn. It looks like Volk gonna have the north spawn. This objective, there's a few like them where Volk actually have multiple spawn points. For the most part, Volk only has 1 spawn for an objective. This is just one of the few where they actually have 2 spawns. Like a 3-man push from the valley. We're gonna have a 2-man push. Oh, Meg's gonna push north. Risky's gonna be pushing center most likely. What do we got for a defense here? Fairly similar setup with the Will in South Brothel. We have got Thought in Center Hotel. 2 members again inside, the same 2 members in fact, in Heli 2 story. Jinx in the same spot as before, gets a pick onto Magnet, downing him. And we got Mike in the North Brothel. So a bit of a kill box here. No one actually on objective, but all getting all 4 corners around the objective to deny entry. Smoke coming from Valley will block Will's view partially as they rotate to lower dumpster. Risky is going to be at center bungalow. And Will's at the first floor of South Brothel, so he's in a good spot to be in for this objective. It's the only way they're going to spot him is if they face him head on in these windows. Mike's going to get a pick on the Spore, who was on West Road. Looks like he's gonna pop off a few confirmation shots. Oliver slowly crawling up towards Center Hotel. Risky doing the same thing from the east side. No one yet to challenge him on his rotation. Mr. V should be getting ready to pick him off. But looking towards the West Road though, unable to spot that cross. Thought we'll be hearing these footsteps though, so he can call out that there's 2 here. Ooh. Oliver and Thought will trade. If they paid attention to the gunfire there, they may figure out it was a trade. When you hear 2 different guns stop shooting at the exact same time, it's generally a good idea to assume that there is a trade. If you can, which these guys will be able to, move in and just confirm. Mike will get the pick onto Risky, making it a 4v1 now in favor of EVF. Mr. V might be able to see Owl here. Popping up shots. Will not get a tag onto Owl. Gonna force him to rotate. Will he find Mr. V? Mike is gonna get a tag onto him. Al will have to use his syringe, stop the bleeding. Oh, as he tries to throw you, Jinx. Heli 2 strike will get the pick, giving EVF their second point. And this is what I mean about Downfall being a Volk favorite map. Quite often you'll see teams trade Volk rounds the entire time. And usually if you're picking Downfall, you gotta make sure you get at least one Marsoc victory, which is always tough to do. Just looking at the score here, things are looking pretty good. A total score of 8-6 so far. Still looking pretty close. Alrighty, now we're off to round number 4. Map 3 decider, folks. And for the first time on this map, Marsaw can get a different spawn. And now get the northeast bungalow spawn. Deaths so far. Will does get tagged, but it's still very much alive. With a hard push between 3 members of EVF here at upper red. Really trying to take control as much map as possible between the pre-fire and this advance. Trying to constrict the defense into a small area. Now we got a standoff. That's kind of down right there. Moments of noise and action, moments of silence. It's Magnet getting a pick. Making it a 4v5. With this pre-fire that came on from EVF, it's actually constrained 2 members to stay in the North Brothel, which may not be what they were hoping for. Mike getting a pick onto Spore, who was in Center Hotel. Bill's gonna find a pick on the man in Jordan Tower. Look at returning fire going on, and I'm stuck in a wall. Looks like Will's trying to get the comper on the Magnet. Can't quite connect the shots. Get another kill on the Valve. There's a Valve here. And EVF is now up in a 4v2.5. Mike just laying up the pressure fire on the If Mike can rotate to Center Hotel, he has the potential to use the buildings and the terrain to get into a position and cap without being spotted. With Mr. B getting the pick on Oliver, all down to Risky now. EVF should have an accurate kill count here. Here comes the smokes from Mike. If they can cap, they can end this match right here. So far, Mike's at helicopter. Magnet should be able to get a call out onto Mike if he rotates inside the bungalow. Remember, if he gets inside, he can put his tablet through the window and cap. Here we go. Here comes Mike. He's inside. Risky gets a kill onto Will. Tablet is out. He's capping. Looks like he's having a little bit of trouble here. Risky's unaware of this cap attempt Looks like Thought's gonna just give up on it. Gonna rotate out and look for the kill. Oh, Risky's gonna get the kill onto Mike. It's now a 2v1 in favor of EVF. Risky could potentially clutch this round for his team. Quite sure where they are. Oh, and a tag by Mr. B will get AVF their third point. They are now one round away from winning this match. And again, so close to capping. They just couldn't quite get the code in. Now I can relate. It's when you're under the gun, under pressure, whether you're on objective, it doesn't happen very often. You don't know when the enemy's going to come in and cover objective. It can be pretty stressful. And when you're being casted on top of that, there's just more pressure on top of that. There's more pressure, and sometimes you just maybe you have a bad code. Maybe the code is something that's, may not have repeating numbers. Maybe it's something that's difficult to remember. Well, that's okay. Even some of the best cappers out there will botch the code. Now, if you do get it wrong, though, you will hear 3 beeps, and you do have a chance to start over again. In fact, what you can do is some teams will memorize the first 3 or 4 numbers and just keep that in their heads the whole time. Then when they get their objective, they just look at the code, look at the last remaining numbers, then go back and to punch in the code. Sometimes you can punch in the code, like you can punch in 5 or 6 numbers, go back, look at the code again, go back to your entering screen and punch in the last number. It's still possible. Takes some time, but it can happen. I guess we'll never know what happened with that cap there. Mike was so close. But we're on to round number 5. And we get the upper dumpster objective this time. And the Nighthawks are gonna get the brothel spawn. Sometimes known as a quick spawn. Spore going towards the tower. He's gonna give Overwatch, Oliver, and Magnet at LA Bungalow. Risky's looking for an open cross towards the Marsoc buildings. Will not see it. Will not have seen Thought get to Marsoc North. And Mike, all the way from that White House, trying to get some shots on target, cannot quite connect. Now I got a 2-man team from Nighthawks at Center Hotel. Will should be hearing these footsteps. Should have called them out, which he's doing right now. Flashbangs and smokes come out. Not too sure where Will is exactly. Just trying to clear out the entire building. We'll eventually realize that he is on the rooftop. Jinx trying to find Owl. Does not quite connect at West Bungalow. And a heavy commitment towards Center Hotel here. Still trying to find Will and flush him out. Should know where he is now with his gunshots. See what happens. Thought in dark room of Marsoc North. Not quite able to find. Oh, nice pick from Will. Still 2 left. But Oliver will get the refrag, clearing Center Hotel, making it a 4v4. Has to be careful of Mike, though, at White House, as Mike does have an angle onto Oliver, as we have just seen. And, that was interesting. Oh, Mike with an extra kill onto Risky. What was a 4v4 has quickly become a 4v2. Owl at West Road. And a long rotation from Spore. Did not spot him on those rotation there. Mike should be hearing these footsteps shortly. And we got 2 minutes, 48 seconds left. Still got time to make a play here. There's really no one on objective itself. Mr. V's and Mike are the only ones able to defend it. With Mike getting to pick up the score, it's now a 4v1. Oh, Mike's now 4v9. As Thought does get a kill on the Owl. Give me EVF their 4th and final point, winning the map, winning the match. That was one heck of a match here. GG's to both teams. Both played very well here. And I'm interested to see how both teams continue to perform as the season moves on. Now, we still have another Onward match going on in Horizon Venues or the VR Master League channel as well on Twitch, or even the Facebook channel, I believe it's Onward VR Master League on Facebook. Yeah, with a score of 10-6, EVF with 2 maps to 1 will win this match. We'll gain some more MMR. Nighthawks, they may lose potential MMR, but they hopefully have gained valuable experience and knowledge from this match. And they can always look back onto this video, this VOD, see what they need to improve on, and move on from there. But that is it for me. I am going to try and put a raid out for the Twitch channel of the Venues matchup. If you wish to join, feel free to go in. But in the meantime, my name is Nomad. Thank you for watching. So long.